I thought I would just start with 4 areas that we've been spending a lot of time thinking about, things that present opportunities but also barriers. And then I thought, and they play into a lot of the questions that I know you have, or if anybody, I think this is going to be a very interactive session, so they'll have microphones and we can address any other questions that you have. But the first one I would say we spend a lot of time on is our consumers. So whether that's doctors, patients, moms, teens, what are people doing, how are they behaving, and how is it changing? And I would say we're at a point in time when consumer insights, as we know them and love them, aren't enough. How we are challenged to take those insights and turn them into actionable marketing messages in different formats across many screens. But I think the biggest challenge is how do we do that in a way that not only grows our business but adds value? So less disruptive, more instructive, more valuable to our customers. The next one is the sense that when you're building, I've said in earlier talks that I've given that we have to move from a reach and frequency mindset to a reach and relationship mindset, which means going back to some basics of just building a relationship. And one of the important factors in building a relationship is listening. So we tend to we pull back into this notion of storytelling, which I think has a very important role in what we all do, but it needs to change, and we need to spend more time listening, because in storytelling, that still keeps us in charge of the beginning, middle, and end. And that's really not how it works anymore. So that's another space we're focusing on, how to change that paradigm. The second big area that we concentrate on is data. Now, somebody said it in a speech last week, I don't remember who it was, but data everywhere and not an insight in sight. We can measure anything. When you hear people say, well, we can't measure it, we can't do it, it's just simply not true. We can measure everything, and I think the challenge and the opportunity that we're faced with is that there is so much data, but we need much more discipline in how we use it. What are we measuring? Why are we measuring it? Might be the most important question, and how does that link back to our business strategy? If you pick 3 things you're going to measure them consistently, stick to it so you can benchmark. So that's an area that we're very focused on. Talent. Digital natives are at our door. They are interviewing for jobs, they're here. So how do we think about incentivizing behavior in senior management that attracts and retains these digital natives and inspires them in ways that help us grow our business? How do we inspire our agencies to behave differently in this new world? That's a big part of moving forward. How do we nurture the talent pool? And I guess the last thing I would just discuss is the future. I've sat through an upfront meeting yesterday. It was wonderful, great content, great presentation. But what I keep getting the sense of is that I'm still in an industry that is working desperately to preserve the past, as if the future's optional. It's not optional unless you're retiring within 12 months. The future of this industry isn't optional, it's coming.